Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, it's Regit and welcome to another video on Update 7.2. The prophesied time has finally come upon us. Since Update 6.5, I've been wondering, where on earth is Ch.2? Ordinarily, as with Into the Future, each new chapter would be introduced the update after, you'd think, and then the story would be finished a couple of updates since it was introduced. But no, in the update since 6.5, there was nothing. We thought, where's Ch.2 gone? Is that it? Is a strange god discount all we're gonna get out of it? And then there was another update, nothing. Another update, nothing. And it became so much of an absence that it developed meme status. But mind you, the fact that me saying that means that it will no longer be funny, but at the very least, it has become a very talked about point. Where is the rest of Ch.2? Well, today, and in many previous days, because other people were actually around when the update came out, Ch.2 shown to you. It has in fact appeared, and here it isn't. Okay, I'm confused. What? What? How did I not notice that? I've been covering 7.2 and 7.1. Here it is then, this time as I enter Battle Cat. A new chapter for Ch.2 is available. Select it from the title screen to continue the Battle Cat story. Oh, I do love to continue a story, I do. And here it is, the Passion of Cat God, which is, I guess, a reference, but I mean, first of all, that's not quite right. That would have to be the Cat Christ, because it's the Passion of the Christ, and the God is the heavenly figure, and the Christ is his son, who came and died for all of us. If you are religious. If you're not, go about your secular business, but doesn't stop this being wrong. In this one, clear the final stage of Passion of Cat God to unlock a mystery reward. The only problem with that, I see, is the little Cat God symbol, right? What I would suggest to me is that it's another sort of fake out reward, not a real proper reward, because originally what we thought was that perhaps in Ch.2 2 and 3, we'd unlock the true forms to perhaps Uranus and Catdown. Seeming as in Into the Future chapters 2 and 3, you unlock the true forms of Valkyrie Cat and Bahamut Cat. But no, they've introduced those with a cat fruit that I will never get any of, and with a stage that is very silly indeed. Bit of a disappointment. I feel like they really could have aligned things a lot better if they'd done it the same way they did with Into the Future. Especially looking at how these could have operated as enemies. This is something that Lucas pointed out in his video on Growing Strange. If they'd done it stage-wise, it could have been a lot more interesting. But now you just have to go through a stage that's nigh impossible. But that's fine, because some of you have told me, hey Regit, Growing Strange is fine for me, which means it must be fine for you. Oh, I do like the background. We got our rare cat ticket reward for update 7.2 as we do for most of the updates, but feast your eyes upon it's flowers and trees and that's very nice. I like it. I like the colours, mellow but also bright, connoting a sense of vibrance and youth, but yet sensibility, meaning maybe that this new chapter, I am always inclined to say sub-chapter, but it is in fact a chapter, will be a good chapter. And that is my inner media student talking. In reality, it's just a background and there's just some cats. Chapter begins with good old Earth. I wouldn't expect anything less. I'll go back to my general slot because there are no special requirements as it seems to come up in a little pink box. Let's attack! And into Earth we go. The last sign of familiarity as we go back to the countryside. What is here to meet us? It's a dachshund. Don't you love a dachshund? I've seen plenty of my dachshunds and I know how to deal with them. And when I say that, I don't know exactly how to deal with them. I don't know specifically what's best, but Jizo seems to outrange it, and I doubt it's going to be that difficult. So, Jizo, you know, the answer is usually Jizo. There's also an Ultra Barbar to start off the party. Well, I don't have any barrier breakers. In fact, I have nothing in the way of stuff that might be good enough for what we need. The only possible solution to this is Catman. And I don't know whether Catman does enough damage to break this barrier. Probably not. It's an extreme amount of health that Ultra Barbar's barrier has. And it's specifically kind of designed to be one that you have to use barrier breaker for. But here's the moment of truth. Catman takes his swoop, comes down, and doesn't break the barrier. We're gonna have to take this the long way round. I felt a little bit in danger first off when we had all the Dagsons there, but they were relatively weak and actually gave us a lot of money. So now, with our working cat halfway up towards the max and lots of meat shielding, we are going to theoretically sit here forever until I think of some incredibly brilliant plan. Meg Aphrodite is our next only hope, but I fear it might shoot past the Ultra Barbar, and it has indeed. And there's nothing I can do about it. There is no damage that we can do to Ultra Barbar. The barrier will remain, and while the barrier remains, we can't do any damage to it. We'll only be doing damage to the barrier, and if you don't kill the barrier, the damage resets every time you hit it. So essentially, we're going to be doing no damage to the thing. There's also evidence by the fact that it has like 1 health or something. When we kill the barrier, we kill it. Might even be 0 health. But for as long as we can't kill the barrier, that 0 is also infinite. It's like a circle in its sides. Our final possible only hope is a Bahamut. Can that break the barrier? I'm going to go with a no, but let's have a look. A Bahamut does not, in fact, break the barrier. We are going to be stuck here forever. But you know me, I don't like to waste my energy, so there's no point me doing this. But I will feel better for doing this for at least a little bit. I might have a spearmint while I wait. I like spearmint. The thing is, and sorry for if you hear the spearmint clacking about my mouth and sort of making it very difficult for me to talk, this Meg Aphrodite I'm about to spawn now isn't going to go to the back of the field. It's going to stand where the other one is because it has no reason to go backwards. And the Ultra Bar isn't going to hit it. It's going to hit my base. And you know, I'm actually more content with this Ultra Barbar killing my base in its entirety than giving up in the face of no barrier breaker. I can take solace in the fact I had no way of knowing that this would happen. And a general slot is usually the best idea, but equally, it hasn't worked, so we need to try again. First thing to say, right, is that having my spearmint completely backfired. Like, I thought it was going to be a brilliant idea in my show of defiance against the Ultra Barbar, but now I had to chew it quicker than I'd like to because I need to get on recording, and it's also turned into a sort of flavourless, sticky mess. It's just going to impair my speech, and that's a whole entire spearmint wasted, and I'm going to be mulling over that for like days to come. Maybe as one redeeming factor, there seems to be an interesting menu change within the update. Maybe I haven't noticed this before, but I think it is new. The fact that there are so many cats that we now have in each section, they seem to have replaced the individual dots with a more wholesome, less separated scroll bar that therefore doesn't matter how many of each cat you have, so that it scrolls across nicely instead of having too many dots for it to be realistically useful. As for my slot, what I've tried to develop is some kind of general Cats of the Cosmos thing. Now, things to remember in Cats of the Cosmos. Now, we need Barrier Breaker, which is why I've brought along Trusty Blue, Marin Mizzou, with all its abilities, many different ones. Anti-Warp, Marin Mizzou, and Can-Can. I've got Paladins in case we need critical hits, Meg Aphrodite for things like Project A, and then there's also the different requirements. So I've got with me a basic cat to use as meat shielding. A more expensive meat shield, you could say in Jiangxi maybe, Metal Cat would probably be better. The cost thing I'll probably have to adjust for anyway, but that's my best hope for a general slot, fulfilling everything, which you can't really do in Cats of the Cosmos. I guess that's the whole point. So, back to Earth, and then perhaps we can complete the first level. I would take solace from the fact that I would have a minty taste in my mouth, but it's now been overcome by the sniffles that I seem to inevitably get whenever I record. I don't know why, but it happens. But these Dagsons hopefully are going to facilitate my way out of this cold by first defeating them. Secondly, defeating Ultra Barbar with this here blue, who is about to take the shot that lands an Ultra Barbar and kills it with a beautiful barrier breaker. And then once we've dealt with these Dagsons, I can then kill them, move to the base, destroy it, and take a whiff of an old bass inhaler. Tar very much. Inferior humanity! That is fantastic. I think that's the best treasure that I could have got as well. Inferior humanity is the view I take of human nature, so to get such a treasure is quite heartwarmingly accurate. Next is Mars, where we are first greeted with conditions. But what are they? Battle restriction, rarity, only normal, rare, super rare, and uber rare. Well, I've put in Cyborg Cat specifically for the rare, bit of Paris Cat carry. Normal, we've got Eraser. Super rare, Manic Eraser. uber rare blue. I'm not going to change my slot. Hopefully this sort of generalised one actually works for one restriction. Also, the customary jamming out to the music. Let's go. I unfortunately interrupt the festivities to bring you the arrival of a star peng, something I dislike very much indeed. I am not a fan. I really don't like star pengs. They cause a lot of trouble for Jackie Peng variants. They have a ridiculous amount of health, they cause a ridiculous amount of damage, and they spin around so smugly. And they ruin your day over and over again. No such trouble for us this time though, as we power through them. With our cyborg cat, blue, raises everything else. In fact, nothing on here has been restricted off my lineup. So a good start for the generalised slot. Jupiter we go to next, where boys go to get more stupider, as the primary school jaunt went. And I think that's actually quite appropriate of the views in today's society. Man at your legs, go! You know what that reminded me of? Chill Hats. You remember Battle Cats Go? Battle Cats Go! I discovered Chill Hats, right? Floated up onto some random stream I'd done saying, wow, you still do Battle Cats, hi. I was like, wow, hi, you still exist. Loads of elite Shibalians this time, no worry for the cyborg cat. Everything crumbles before me as we reach to the base and destroy it in a mere few seconds to give us possible treasure of superior gases. Look at that, need never go back to Jupiter again. Saturn is next. What conditions could we possibly come across? They are cat deploy cost 300 monies or more. Now, will my lineup serve well for that? That's what I said about Metal Cat before, because Jiangxi does not fulfill that requirement. So I think that is one editation that I will make. I will put Metal Macho in there. But other than that, I still think this can stand well as a generalised Cats of the Cosmos slot. One Horns! Oh, I remember them! Do I have a story to tell about One Horns in this lemur? So on my JP account, I briefly strayed into the Cats of the Cosmos Chapter 1. And when I went into this level, I was very much ill-equipped for it. All I had was blue, a Bahama, and no meat shields, other than Rover Cat, which actually thinking about it would be a brilliant thing to have in my lineup. But I tried and tried as hard as I could, but any combination of anything I did always left me a tiny bit short of killing the amount of One Horns I needed to get monies and progress through them, killing them. I eventually had to bring a load of red knockbackers that I had. But it was interesting trying for like minutes and minutes on end, and loads of tries, seeing if I could find a combination to get through these One Horns. I guess that's the joy of strategizing. All relative, really. I enjoyed strategizing when I knew for a fact that I could do the level with other cats. When I'm strategizing on the main account and I've got all of the cats the highest level that I can that would be best suited to the level and I still can't do the level, then that becomes quite disheartening. Venus is next. Reportedly, according to the now unfortunately rather clickbaity theory, the planet on which Fortnite takes place, which is another reason to get it out the way as quickly as possible. I will change the meat shield to Rover because that just makes a lot more sense. And we're going to go into the level with this now being our general slot. Never ceases to look exciting, this does. A sort of out of focus, hazy, 2D Battle Cats background already looking infinitely better than the awful graphics of Fortnite. How anyone can play that game and look at it without their eyes sort of burning into a deep sadness of just how aesthetically bad a game can be, I don't know. Rover Cat's going to be great. I mean, even on JP, where mine's only about level 20, it was still great. It's just going to provide a lovely wall to everything, be very resistant to the aliens, and unless there's anything else, they're going to last for a long while. And then everything behind it's going to kill the enemy before they can not last for a long while, and this is going to carry us through these levels very easily, I'm sure. And having a slot like this is just really useful, because ultimately when I'm farming treasure, I don't want to be flitting between slots, but equally I don't want to be spamming one level over and over and over again, because that's boring. So the fact I can move between each one with the same slot is a really useful thing. So I'm glad I'm developing this. What I'm less glad about is the star peng. And it's gone! Well, hey! Mercury then, in the strange, arbitrary order that we seem to be doing our solar system in, its conditions are max number of deployable cats, 20. Well, I'm still gonna go for it. Rover cat should be able to cope as a good meat shield in small numbers. I'll just avoid the cheaper meat shields. And as for the other stuff, I think that'd be perfectly fine. Challenge accepted. First part of this challenge is a kangaroo. I've already started with the cheaper meat shields as I said I would not, because I guess instinct, creature of habit, you always start with your meat shields, don't you? Paris is more of a spammable unit, but I guess I'll just have to try my best to keep low on the numbers of that. A rover every now and then, bit of a can-can, bit of a Gizo. I briefly hit the deploy limit there, and there we go. Again, we are 20 units on the field, but no worries for us, as another Ultra Barbar falls from the field of battle. We have a formidable force approaching, and we'll just zap all of these into a nice frozen state, get rid of them, and bam! Meg Aphrodite shot, Starpeng is gone. Rarely is there a better sight than that. I assume the sun then will be our last component of our solar system, our big hot star, which seems to be hovering far too close to the United Kingdom as of late. Really, really hot here. Physically melting, as I was last year. This day of recording this, the hottest day of the year so far. And I don't see what people see in the sun. I don't know if people would agree with me that it's much nicer to be cold, because it's much easier to make yourself warmer than to be hot and make yourself cooler. Yes, there's the beach, but there's also, right, being comfortable. Now, I'm sure there'll be a great many of you who have things to say such as, Regit, you don't know what true heat is, you're not in the America. But the difference is, we're not used to this sort of thing. We are bred in the cold and the dark and the rain to complain about weather which now I would wish for with all my heart. Where are those water droplets from the sky? It's an iron face and one of those alien mole things whose name I cease to remember, but I shall spitefully not try and find out, because Mr. Mole's not really a fan of them, I will admit. Mag Aphrodite is going to easily deal with an iron face, outranges it with much space to spare. Blue, I don't know. Maybe, possibly. Either way, it's going to get shots in. I remember it being useful against Iron Face in the JP account and just into the future generally. So we'll be fine. I mean, it's literally dead, just there. This is alright. I like this. Inferior Sunspot. Well, thank you very much. Describes where I am right now quite well. You had to do that, didn't you? Irregular order of the planets leads us to Uranus, which is in fact still in our solar system. I just realised I have no idea what the restriction to this one is. I reckon it's first row only? That would make sense. I'm glad I didn't fit out the first row with just combos then. So no worries about the amount of units we can deploy. I assume they haven't introduced the double caveats yet. So we're going to power forward towards base and see what's in it. It's a Nimoy bore, which could be fine. We've got Rover Cat, nothing specifically to slow the thing other than our cannon, but we're going to work at it. We're going to try our best and hopefully we're going to succeed, because if I'm not to succeed, my slot is not to succeed, and that is what I've been pushing the entire video. Looks like meat shields, can, Gizo, Rover, all of that was plenty enough to get rid of the Nimoy bore. Not an especially strong one, no kind of the Great Abyss sort of Nimoy bore. It was fairly pleasant, and that's Uranus completed with a no treasure. We'll be sure to go back to that, but it'll be fine anyway, even with the slot that we had. Neptune's still in our solar system. Endeavouring to complete our solar system actually taking far longer than I thought it would. Now, as I melt in the absence of fans, much like with my channel itself, we go on still. Well, first of all, I'm going to do a blue, and it's a Gregory, not an incredibly brilliant sight, just as in Battle Cats as in The Walking Dead. And I can't even bring out my blue because it's the same rules as before. I probably should have known that. I went over the fact that they go twice round, and here we might have hit a kind of sticking point because we've got no barrier breakers. Unfortunately, that had to be 64 energy wasted. I saw no workable solution other than to just put blue in the first row, which required leaving the level, but hopefully we just won't lose any more energy than that. I originally considered putting Volley in because Volley's very good in its first form, very spammable, and I thought also a barrier breaker, but actually that's just Volta, so that doesn't work. So the moving of blue is something that I had to do, and maybe that might work unless there's a kind of second row only sort of thing. But if I have it round this way, I don't see any harm in that. just slightly changing the order of the slot, going to make it more accessible for the levels. Sounds good. Lots and lots and lots and lots of Ultra Barbars, but will there be anything in that Poseidon-y base that lies behind us here? Well, we're soon to deal with that Ultra Barbar. We shall move forward with our Can and all the other stuff army, and we hit the base. It doesn't seem like it. Okay, not that much of an interesting level then. It's either completely impossible or very, very possible. And finally, we're out. Oh, I'm not actually too sure. Triton might be a moon. But you know what? Not part of my solar system regarding my primary school education, or as far as I remember it. So that is where I'll end this Cat to the Cosmos video. Of course, I'm going to be going through more of it. Stream-wise, I'm going to be treasure hunting for all of this, because I assume there'll be plenty of treasure to get. What are the treasures, in fact? First time looking for a new treasure in ages. Collect all treasures to increase attack power versus starred aliens we could expect. Mars and Venus we've yet to get treasure for. And then it's starred aliens again, starting at the level we haven't tried yet. Then it's again starred aliens and 4 starred aliens. I think that's actually 5 starred aliens. That is ridiculous. Ability effectiveness versus metal. That is a brilliant idea. And I can get that with the levels that we've done at the moment. Very useful for things like floor 28, maybe floor 38, metal levels that people struggle with. Maybe even that idiotic growing strange thing. But that still doesn't mean that I'm going back to it until they actually change it to make it tangibly easier. But I think this is going to be a brilliant treasure to have, as all treasures are, but some are better than others. Ability effectiveness against zombie, again, going to be useful. Against aliens, going to be useful. And Cat's energy cap increased again. I thought they weren't going to do that, but in fact they are going to do that. Wonder what that'll bring us to then. Do you reckon we're ever going to get to 1,000? I'm sure you guys already know. All of you have completed it all. I've got all my treasures, Regit. Shinora's got all his treasures, Regit. My left ear's done the sub-chapter and you haven't. XP gained, I guess useful for some XP stages, not that important. And then the final godly strange thing of question marks. Well, all to come in the future, I would say. So I will leave you on this wonderful background. Ask you to subscribe if you'd like to, please. We're trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. By the time this goes out, we're on the verge of 40, so it's unlikely. But subscribing anyway would be very nice of you, and I'd love it if you would. But again, your choice. I will bid you goodbye, and I hope you enjoyed.